different now is, you come to Camp Lejeune, you would think of the, driving down, and you come down into 24, and of course, the city's changed, the county's changed, just our partners within the community, it's different, but it's really unique here if you're a young Marine, because you have an opportunity now to deploy to the Pacific, and you have an equal opportunity to deploy to Europe, and you will go back and forth in a rotation, and the pace at which you go is pretty quick. And furthermore, the headquarters elements, whether it's the division, the MAW, the Marine Aviation Wing, or the logistics group, you're prepared to be a combat fighting organization at the operational level. Meaning for what it really comes down to is the MEF, the Expeditionary MEF here, is now responsible for deploying combat and command and control combat forces, combined all-domain effects, joint combined effects, and that's what we do now. So if you're here at Camp Lejeune, you're preparing forces for deployment, and you're preparing yourself to lead and command and control forces in 2 different theaters. And then if you thought that was enough, it was a great conversation when I left Washington, D.C. in the fall, and the Commandant looked at me and said, Dave, Camp Lejeune, that's my MEF, and I want you to pick up your pace because you are the premier crisis response force for 4 combatant commands. And you kind of swallowed and went, okay, Commandant, got it. We've got that mission. And we've demonstrated that mission, that we have the ability to do that. That's not your daddy's MEF anymore. So when you look around and you see youngsters going 100 miles an hour, you see Marines going and moving at the quick pace, at a 30-inch step, that's why. And it's really remarkable. And I think for me, what I would pass all to you just very quickly is, wow, I see it. There's challenges for sure, but I see Marines with a happy heart. I absolutely see Marines and sailors, moving at a pace because they have purpose. And when you put a purpose in front of a Marine, put a mission in front of a Marine or a sailor, and that purpose, that drives organizations. So it's really pretty unique. Right now, if you think about where we are, it's remarkable. And let me just kind of put that into context. The 24th MEU is in Naples, Italy, commanding forces in Scandinavian countries. And they are a part of the Fleet Marine Force for 6th Fleet doing planning and operations inside Naples. We have Marines that are in Estonia, Lithuania, we're in Norway, Sweden, Finland, doing reconnaissance, counter-reconnaissance missions. We have a battery from 10th Marines, the 2nd Battalion, the hotel company that's brought HIMARS, are basically our rocket launch artillery, and the ability with radars and command and control, and they're bouncing around Europe right now, demonstrating the ability for us to shoot and scoot. We've got Marines in the UK, we have Marines in Germany, Italy, and Greece, across the entire formation right now. You've got Marines that are in Okinawa. So I've got VMFA 115 out of, again, 2nd MAW, forward deployed with their jets, flying the Fight Tonight mission. Meaning if you're a young captain or a young major, you're expected to be prepared and ready to go, moment's notice, get in your jet and fly that mission. And they know exactly what they will do on that go hour. It's like rehearsed. It's like playing high school sports. The coaches play, the first play, you know what you're going to play. Victor 3-6, 3rd Battalion, 6th Marines, is up with 4th Marines right now in Camp Schwab. They are the Fight Tonight traditional regiment, and our battalions rotate through that regiment, and they are prepared to go at a moment's notice. I mean, that's just a tip of the iceberg of what's going on right now. And if you think about what's on our plate, I look over at my battle buddies here, and Cal sits next to me on my next door. We sit on our back porch, and you recognize the pace in which we are preparing formations to go out the door. I mean, 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marines is preparing for their turn in Okinawa. And they're underway training, exercising, getting evaluated, being put to the test. 1st Battalion, 8th Marines will join the 24th MU, which will form later this summer. 3rd Battalion, 2nd Marines, again, they will prepare for a UDP deployment. We will actually have a 2nd Battalion, 8th Marines, who will pair up with them and put an additional unit into the Pacific. So you can start to feel that pace. And I think, what I'm really excited about is if probably another week and a half, you'll see some great ladies off your coast, and that's the 2-6 MU. And they are finishing up their last exercise before their deployment. We intend to certify them special operations capable. That hasn't been in our vernacular for quite some time. And we're going to put them back into patrol, and they'll head into the Mediterranean, they'll head into the Baltic Sea, they'll head down into the ditch and go into the Arabian Gulf. I mean, it's amazing to see. And when you see those gray ladies come off the coast, you know Marines are there. Another thing I would say for just to kind of make sure we're all recognizing, we have great partners. And General Schroeder, Chuck, you mentioned it with Andy's team, right? So the installations, our bases and stations that are here in Beaufort, Cherry Point, New River, and here, we have this saying between us, you're make ready. We look at this as a fighting platform. We are a supporting relationship where we know the ranges that we have, the ability to maneuver inside the space all the way up north, all the way down into the Gizra, allows us to be a very distributed force. It allows us to do combined arms. We have premier ranges here, and it allows us to sharpen our sword. We go down to Townsend Bombing Range, and we make sure we know how to sortie and do those things that we expect our pilots to do when we ask for close air support. I can't thank our partners enough, for the civilians, the sailors, and the Marines, and I just want to make sure when you hear 2MEF, it is a partnership between us and the installation. And I think the final thing I just want to talk about very briefly is it's really about people. We can talk about hardware, we can talk about ships, and we can talk about all of that, but it doesn't really matter unless you've got the right people. A couple weeks ago, I was very fortunate to host the ambassador to the United States from Norway. And they were very interested in some of our hardware. And it was really telling, to go out to the LZ, and we had a battery out there from, again, 2nd Battalion, 10th Marines. And so Fox 210 has all their Marines situated in the tree line. You really can't see them. I'm looking. I kind of see where they are. And we're demonstrating for the ambassador how we shoot and scoot. And here comes Marines out of all over places. You see drones looking for screening. You see Marines moving, trucks coming out, firing, going back in the tree line, and she's, amazed. And at the end of the exercise, the Marines came up. She got a chance to meet corporals, lance corporals, PFCs inside multi-million-dollar pieces of equipment, directing fires, going through those fire missions, and it's young 19, 20-year-olds with an incredible responsibility. And I looked at her and I said, Madam Ambassador, you can look at this piece of HIMARS all you want, but if you don't train an NCO Corps, if you don't pay attention to your soldiers, your airmen, and they have Marine, if you don't pay attention to that, you will not be able to achieve the effects that I think your government is trying to do. To me, it's always been about the people. I think that's the beauty of the Marine Corps. It's always about the people. And sometimes we lose sight of that. Sometimes, there's some gray beards in here that we could talk about generational differences. But I'm telling you, from what I can see, and when I walk around this MEF, what I know is these Marines are tougher than woodpecker lips. And they're smarter than we were. And you give them a task, and you give them a purpose, and they move out. And it's remarkable. And all they're asking for is leadership. They're looking for an example and a commitment from you as a leader to take care of them, to look out for them, and they will go fight with you. It's remarkable. I had great pleasure of seeing young Marines around this meth. Tell you a couple quick stories. One remarkable, and Cal, just let me indulge on this one. Stood in front of a chow line, a lot of Marines coming into chow line. It was right around the birthday ball. I'm shaking hands. I must have shaken at least 2,000 to 3,000 hands of Marines just going to have a piece of cake, gonna get something to eat for the birthday ball. Here comes, some young Marines, they don't like three-star generals, and they certainly don't want to be face-to-face with me, and I understand. And of course, come here, Marine, come over here. I'm fine, I'm good. And this young lady walks over to me. I mean, she came right at me, 100 miles an hour. Sir, I'm Lance Corporal Dupuy. And I'm like, oh, Lance Corporal, how are you? And I kind of went, whoa. I said, where do you work? Sir, I'm in 2nd Marines. I'm in 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marines. Now you got my attention, right? She's about 6 foot tall, 6'1". I said, great, what do you do? I'm a mortarman. And I went, okay, now you got a story. Now you really got my attention. I said, what are you doing? Sir, my father served in 2nd Marines as a mortarman, and I wanted that experience. I said, well, what, were you a high school athlete? She said, sir, I was a collegiate athlete. Really? She goes, the Ohio State University. So, what generals do sometimes, you grab the aide and you go, psst, write that name down. I'll make some phone calls. And I did. I went back that afternoon, called the regimental skipper, called my division CG, and they went, oh, we know her, sir. She's running the Fire Sport Coordinating Center. She's that good. And oh, by the way, sir, she's got an officer package in. Wow. Then you got Marines that are in Estonia right now that are training in a mobile reconnaissance company in and amongst people in the high north and that are a breakaway from, you think about the geography of that region, where they've been. It hasn't been that long. And they are partnered with the United States because they want to be with the United States, and they want to be with the United States Marines. And it's a small contingent of Marines that are moving and scooting in that area in Estonia, who get a day of liberty, who happen to just walk into the little ville. They're just going to go get something to eat, and they look over, and there's a man that's in distress. And what do Marines do? They went and rendered aid, and they were accredited for saving his life. The guy was choking. And it's remarkable. Just a few weeks ago, Marines, 3 Marines in our community right here in VME 2 from 2nd Ma, vehicle rolls over, and these young Americans stop. They get out of their car, they go render aid, they make assistance, they make sure EMS arrives, and that this person's life is saved. These are your Marines. It's remarkable. And it's really a privilege to have the opportunity to serve alongside these great Americans. I don't take it for granted. I humbly look at that as my greatest challenge to get up in the morning and go, how can we serve this organization better? How can we as a collective group with this community make their lives a little better so that when that bell rings, you know it and I know it, they'll answer it. It's remarkable. So thank you for coming tonight, part of the community members. Thank you very much. For our professionals in the room, Marines, it's just great to see you all, and my sailors that are here as well. It's great to see you in this room, a part of this organization, sharing ideas, having that professional conduct or conversations, and the way we conduct ourselves. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, gentlemen and ladies, this is why we stay Marine. It's the community of people. And the ability to do this, and the ability for this great organization to put this on so that we could do this tonight, thank you. It's remarkable. So enjoy the rest of your evening, and thank you for allowing me just to come up and say a couple of words, and I'll see you at the bar. Rah.
General Ottignon, the bar is on him. So just.
Some stuff never
Sir?
changes. You get that?
I would like to present the Marine Corps installation Command Civilian of the Year, sponsored by Marine Federal. Marine Federal Credit Union is committed to serving communities of Marine Corps installations. Our employees understand the needs of military life and apply that to helping members financially. I would like to invite Kim Kennard of Marine Federal Credit Union to the stage to assist in presenting the award. The Marine Corps Installations Command Civilian of the Year is John Johnson. Mr. Johnson serves as the Golf Course Manager, Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune, New River. Under his leadership, Paradise Point Golf Course realized a $40,000 net profit, a 53% increase in rounds of golf, and won the MCCS Restaurant of the Year and Beverage Excellence Award. Mr. Johnson, please join us on the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, the Marine Corps Installations Command Civilian of the Year.